It's that TFSA time of year again. Get your stock and ETF picks ready because the new limit was just announced. I'll go over that and more changes in this video. Hey, what's going on? It's Chris here at Wealth Awesome. The Canadian government has decided to keep things the same for 2021, and the TFSA contribution limit is once again $6,000. One of my favorite features of the TFSA is that the limits are the same for every Canadian. Your income level does not matter. This is great because it provides every Canadian with a lot of room to start saving. You carry forward the unused TFSA room that you haven't used in the previous years. So if you miss a year, don't worry, it'll be available for you still in the following years. The TFSA is now the most popular investment account in Canada, and it edged out the RRSP. If you were born before 1991, you'll be able to invest $75,500 inside your TFSA with the new $6,000 2021 contribution limit. So there's a few ways to calculate your TFSA limit. The first way is that I actually built a TFSA calculator. It's on my website and I'll put a link to it in the description. That's a pretty simple way to figure out quickly what your contribution limit is. The second way is the harder way. Your maximum contribution room depends on when you were born. If you turned 18 before or during 2009, you could contribute the maximum of $75,500 as of 2021. If you turn 18 after 2009, it's best to use the TFSA room calculator that I linked to figure out how much total you can contribute as of 2021, as the calculations can get a bit tricky. After you figure out your maximum contribution room based on what year you were born, you subtract how much you have already contributed to it to arrive at your current TFSA contribution limit. Here's a formula that you could use. It's the max TFSA room minus the total contribution equals your current TFSA contribution room. Note that even if you withdraw money from your TFSA in 1 year, you won't be able to get that contribution room back until the following year. This is very important as it can lead to overcontribution for many people, and it has. The safest way though to calculate your TFSA room is to contact the CRA directly. There's two ways you could do it. Make sure you know your contribution limits because it can lead to steep penalties if you overcontribute. If you're not sure, log into your MyCRA account and your limit will display in the TFSA section. If you don't have a MyCRA account, you could also give them a call. Here's the number. And the helpful phone agents at CRA can help you out. So if you're ever not sure, that's 100% best and easiest way to figure it out. So TFSA versus RRSP. There's an endless debate on whether you should contribute to a TFSA or an RRSP. There are some general rules of thumb that you could follow, such as if your income is $50,000 or less, you can start by contributing to the TFSA first. Your marginal tax bracket is what's important at this stage. If you're beginning to pay a very high tax rate because your income is significant, you could start to look at contributing to your RRSP before your TFSA. But I personally like to max out my TFSA before my RRSP, and there's 3 reasons because of that. The first reason is because the RRSP is locked in until retirement, and any attempt to withdraw it will incur hefty taxes. The second reason is simplicity. The TFSA is simple to understand and easy to figure out the contribution rooms. Number 3 is transparency. Because we don't know exactly what tax rates will be in the future or what our income brackets will be when we retire, it's challenging to know exactly how much taxes we will be saving with the RRSP. The TFSA does not have this problem. An exception is if your employer provides you with matching RRSP contributions, then always go max out your RRSP first, since it's considered free money. Some common TFSA mistakes to avoid. The first one is withdrawing TFSA and contributing to it in the same year. If you withdraw from your TFSA, that contribution room won't be available until the next year. If you're near the contribution limit, wait until the following January to contribute again to your TFSA. The second big mistake I see is overcontributing. If you overcontribute to your TFSA, you will incur a penalty of 1% of the value every month. Make sure you don't overcontribute and always check your TFSA contribution limit if you're not sure using the methods I showed you earlier. The third mistake is purchasing foreign dividend stocks. If you are buying a foreign dividend stock, such as the US stock in your TFSA, the dividends are subject to a withholding tax of 15%. While the amount isn't usually significant, this is something you want to be aware of because a lot of Canadians don't know this fact. The fourth mistake that I see is transferring between different financial institutions in cash. So for example, if you sell your TFSA from RBC and then buy it back again into stocks with Quest Trade or something like that. If this happens, this is considered withdrawing from your TFSA, and you won't actually have that room available until the next year. So that's a very common mistake also, and that many people aren't aware of. So just be aware of that. Always try to transfer in kind between institutions. If you want to learn more about some common mistakes, I made another video about this earlier this year, last year I mean. It's called TFSA Mistakes, so you could go check it out. And overall, I think the TFSA is the best investment account in Canada by far. It's the easiest to understand. It's no mystery as to why it's the most popular account now for Canadians. Every year that the government offers a TFSA again is a great one because they don't have to offer it. With the extra $6,000 in your TFSA room, you can continue to see your savings and investments soar. Check out my TFSA Ultimate Guide on my blog if you want to learn more about the TFSA and some more advanced tips for that. There's a couple ways that you can start investing in your TFSA. I recommend either Quest Trade or Wealthsimple. If you want to trade just Canadian equities or ETFs, I would recommend Wealthsimple Trade over Quest Trade because they have completely commission-free for both stocks and ETFs. You can get a $50 free commission stock credit with Quest Trade in the description below. And you could also get a $10 sign-up bonus with Wealthsimple Trade. I've also linked the description. If you think that you don't want to invest in your TFSA and you just want to use it as a savings account, I would recommend EQ Bank. They have a current rate of 1.5% per year, which is way higher than anything you get at a major bank like RBC or TD, which is probably like 0.1% right now. So I put a link in the description below to that also. All right, so since you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out content every week. And if you haven't already, check out the blog, wealthawesome.com. I have written about this topic in extensive detail. I have a lot more TFSA content and much more on the blog for Canadians. It's one of the fastest growing blogs in Canada, so make sure you check it out. And as always, thanks for listening.